welcome once again. Thanks so much for joining us. And really excited and happy to kick off the second panel of the day, surrounded by rising artists. We will get into this really great topic. First of all, I want to thanks to PUMA because they are our partnership, and I really feel, especially in those times, being grateful for the support for everything and everyone. So thanks a lot for hosting this panel and being with in our side, with everything. So thanks a lot, team that is there over there. And okay, let's start for the with this panel called Rising Artists and Rising Stars. And let's make, how we did in the first panel, a brief introduction about you, everyone, who you are, what do you do, and what is your role in the industry. So, yeah, feel free to start. Who wanna? Yeah. Okay.
Hi. My artist name is LOKIER. My real name is Joanne, and I'm a DJ and producer from Mexico, but I'm based now in Berlin. And I don't know. That's it, I guess.
Yeah, perfect. Great. What about you guys?
My name is Rob, and my DJ name is DJ Hyperdrive. I'm a resident for the Crew Party in Berlin, and I'm also a DJ and a producer. And I've been living here for 3 years now.
Perfect. What about you?
Cool. Well, we are Don't Blink. We are from Estonia and Germany. And we make tech house. We've been releasing music as Don't Blink for the last 3 years, pretty successfully.
Thank you, Oscar.
Yeah, this is what I really like. When we have this kind of panel, there's so much diversity, especially that we come from different countries. That means that we have kind of different perspective, how we see the market, how we see the industry. And getting to the topic, I would love to ask you what it means to be a rising artist. What is the concept definition for that, and what means for you?
Well, there's a lot of established faces in the industry, and it's pretty hard to break into that market, as everyone here knows. So for us right now, where we are in our career is we're trying to really get a lot of exposure on the platforms, and we are. So all of our releases usually get a lot of featuring on Beatport. We enter the charts. We were actually in the IMS business report that came out last month called #4 best-selling artist on Beatport. So that was pretty cool for us. And a lot of there's a lot of focus for us on music. So we're trying to put music first with everything that we're doing, and we're producing a lot of tracks that we find are working in our sets that have relentless grooves, and we're trying to really create our sound, our branding, and break through that way. But it's not as easy for anyone. Especially right now we're located in Asia, to really break into each market the way that we would like to. So of course there's always room to improve, and we're working hard on especially being here now in Europe over the summer and playing more shows and establishing our name further in the industry, and kind of getting people some exposure to what our parties look like. I think that's always a difficult bridge to gap, which is from being just a producer duo to also performing and having people experience your music live, because then suddenly you have a cool experience to associate with an act, right? I think everyone here, their favorite acts they saw live one time and they really had a great time. So that's what we're breaking into now. So.
And what about you, Ruin? What do you think means to be a rising artist, rising star, and how you feel with that, and what do you think is the pure definition of that? Experience, I mean.
Mm-hmm. I would say for me, from my personal experience, it's getting to the point where, I started doing music, and only my friends listened to it. I played at my own party that I organized, and just getting booked, getting your music out there, getting yeah, actually also fans, kind of people coming up to you and being like, yeah, I've seen you here, you played a great set and I loved every second. I think that's actually like the definition for me. And yeah, also like being invited to this panel today is also a kind of recognition of being a rising artist.
Yeah, we are really happy and really grateful to have you, everyone here, because we consider you this kind of artist, and we are really excited to know your point of view. And what about you? What do you think to be
for me? I guess for me, you know, coming from Mexico, where in the beginning I didn't have much support, and it was really hard for me to kind of break through that. And, you know, at some point I decided to move to Europe by myself and try to make it work here. I think for me would be like taking risks and, you know, finally starting seeing results from all the hard work and all the risks. You know, suddenly people start to be more interested in you. You have a lot of work requests. You have a lot of offers, and at some point it's a bit overwhelming, to be honest, because, you know, in the beginning you want to do everything, but at some point you can put so much stress on yourself, and it comes to a point where you have to make decisions, and it's not easy. And like, trust me, like I would love to do everything, but like sometimes you have to find a balance. But for sure, like rising, you know, is this point where you realize like you have to start making decisions and to see what you accept, what you can't accept, and, you know, try to balance it with your life. So that for me would be it.
Yeah, and getting to this point, I think there are two important concepts for being an artist, but I would say like, especially for being a rising artist, which is mentality and personality. I think if you work hard on that, and you are so consistency and you really like take care of this, you can really like grow up strong and solid. So I would love to ask you, what do you think about those concepts and how do you work on that? Let's go.
For me, it's something I actually didn't start making music with the intent of becoming an artist. I just started doing it as a hobby, kind of, and so actually it's kind of a challenge also right now, which with mentality. Because now that something's coming from it, I'm noticing that, of course, as the more work I put into it, the more I get out of it also, and the more time I spend on the computer producing, the more progress I make. And yeah, I think with mentality, it's yeah, I think you should set goals for yourself and work towards reaching them. And with personality, I know that being like a nice and open person helped me a lot, because I gained a lot of support from people that I met in the scene that just liked me and supported me because they liked me, kind of.
Okay, and what about you? What do you think about the mentality and personality? How that affected your career and how you work with this?
I think you touched on a great point, which is to set goals. I think when we have good goals about labels that we want to release on, or kind of things that we want to achieve, then usually you work way harder towards that. And then personality-wise, I think, yeah, it's just the more you can show of yourself, the better. And we're notoriously bad at social media, so I think that's hard to really. It's almost like you need to document parts of your life nowadays, and we don't really like to do that so much. So then it's a little bit tough, even though, yeah, it's people want to. I think one important thing, and we talked about this before, is I think there's a mindset which is that your music is not your product. It's actually you are the product, and the music is your advertising. Because right now, if you try to sell yourself, right, like you try to sell you as an artist, or you as a character that people like to invite to a show or that want to party with, and obviously the biggest examples right now in tech house are people like John Summit or Fisher or whatever, who are like these party hats that everyone wants to invite. Of course for their music as well, but of course because it would just be a really fun time hanging out with them. And there shows the mentality and the personality, I think, in like a really big way. And we are not these kind of people, so it's a little bit harder to kind of like shine through in your own way and have people kind of connect with you. But you know, it works through music very well, because you can communicate a lot of like what you want a party to be, or what you want to express in a vibe and stuff. So
yeah, exactly. I really agree with that, especially right now nowadays. And for example, for you, like you came from Mexico and you're working on your career really hard. How important is for you the mentality, personality, and how do you handle both in terms to become more a rising artist?
I guess for me, since when I started producing and DJing, it was really not easy for me. I didn't have support, and at some point I felt really lonely, I guess. So I think what I'm trying to do now is to do the opposite of that to people, you know, like I'm trying to be, I guess, a role model, you know, my own role model in a way. Like at that, like back then, I would have loved to have somebody to like show me some kindness and like teach me, you know, things and support me. So now I'm trying to do that for people. Like I really want to change. Like my goal is kind of change the environment and make it more positive and supportive. So that's my whole focus at the moment. Like I'm really trying to be, you know, as honest as possible with people. You know, like I don't want to pretend that everything is perfect and, you know, we have all perfect lives. Like I really, you know, when people ask me questions, I really try to be as honest as possible. So yeah, I guess, you know, coming from a rough background, that turned me into this type of mentality, you know, just to be as real as possible, as honest as possible, and try to follow my instincts. And like you said, it's good to have goals, and definitely, you know, goals help you to settle like a path for you to follow. But I noticed in my case, whenever I try to force things, I became frustrated and things didn't work out. So now what I'm always trying to do is follow my instincts, follow my heart. You know, if something feels right, that's what I do. Of course, I have goals, but I don't want to like over stress with them. Like I don't want to become obsessed. So what I do is I try to work with people that make me feel okay. You know, like I try to work with people that I feel like they're good people. And in the end, it's crazy because a lot of opportunities, you know, that I was sad that I didn't get, in the end, I got better opportunities because of, you know, I did that. So yeah, that's my whole approach.
And for example, like in the beginning for you being a rising artist, how easy or difficult it was for you? Because how you said, for example, like reaching like some Beatport charts and really like reaching those goals. Do you feel like to have this kind of like achievement bring you certain pressure as a rising artist, because the people is expecting always like you will just like reach the top? Like what do you would say it was for you in the beginning in terms of like easy or difficult to build that up, your rising artist profile? Did you find something different, like let's say a normal rhythm of grow up as an artist, or you feel like being rising artist is completely different?
Well, I think for us the goal is never really, I mean, of course you can set the goal, I want to have a #1 hit on Beatport or something like this, or have 1 million streams on Spotify, but I think for us, mostly the goal is to just produce the best track that we can, and then the rest comes with it. So, and it's sometimes hard to choose when a track is fully done and like when it's ready to be released, and what's the right home for a track. And of course, if you set goals like this to yourself, then or labels that you want to release on, then I think then everything else falls into place. If you try to like and not like fall into the old places of like, okay, this worked, let's keep doing the same thing. I think otherwise we would have kept making the music we made 2 years ago, and no idea where we would be today. But like,
exactly. Yeah. And what about for you, Ron? Like, what do you feel it was your beginning in terms of being rising artist? How was the facilities or difficulties to be?
I think like I'm still facing a lot of the difficulties that it brings with it, because I mean, being a DJ isn't really something that you like. Being a DJ, the working part, and DJing is something that you learn, but the whole thing that comes with it, and being an artist, and suddenly also being like a public person in a way is something that like doesn't come with a guide really. And I think also Joanne said something really important, because for me it's really something that helps me a lot is working with other people that make me feel good and that support me and that are already more established in the scene and like that I can talk to and that who help me navigate through things. Because you also said that like sometimes it gets really overwhelming because like all of a sudden you get like a lot of opportunities, and also as you said, you can't really force things. I think especially with music and with producing, for example, I struggle a lot with making podcasts, and I really struggle a lot with producing because I just started, and I've put out some tracks and already got like some requests from bigger labels, and then like you want to deliver the best track possible and it has to be amazing, and you're sitting and like just staring into your screen and nothing's working, and you're like, oh okay, fuck, and then you get frustrated and go back to bed again. And so yeah, I'm kind of like still figuring that out for me, but it gets easier with support, I guess.
Yeah, this is why I talk about this social pressure, especially or maybe from the labels, you know, like they always trying to find that you will deliver the same quality. But I always say, for example, the last panel, you can spend so many hours in front of the studio, but nothing come out because you don't feel productive or maybe because the inspiration is not there. But in the end, it's about don't give up, no? And yeah, just like understand that we're humans and we have good days, we have bad days, we have days that we are more inspired, but maybe other days not. And
I have something to say
yeah,
about
of
that.
Course.
It just reminded me of something that happened to me recently. So exactly like you, at some point I got so many offers, and I think I put so much pressure on myself that I was like completely blocked, and I couldn't work on music for like months. Like I was completely blocked. And then at some point I realized, because I've been producing for several years now, and I realized all these years, whenever you work for a goal or for a label or for some artist, you always base yourself on that person or that label. So all your sound, your style, everything, you kind of adjust it to that. So when I felt like overstressed, like overworked, I thought like, okay, maybe what if I now do music for me just to please myself? And I don't even care if I put it out or not. I'm just going to do something like, you know, to make me happy and like not think of anyone else. So I did that, and that's why I released my own EP like 2 years ago. And I created a label just to release my own music because I thought, like, I'm tired of trying to please somebody, so I'm just going to please myself. And it's funny because for now, like, I think that's like my most successful EP so far. And I didn't expect it at all. But, you know, I realized, like, yes, having goals and, you know, working hard, like, brings you things, but really, really listen to your heart, like, listen to yourself, because when you work for you, like magic things happen, like, really, it's really interesting.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the reasons why this kind of platform like Bandcamp gave the chance to a lot of DJs who has this kind of pressure to release music, just have his own platform, just to put out music. And sometimes it's crazy that they got bigger or they sell more tracks on platforms like Bandcamp, not called only because the way to promote the music, but also because they say like, I don't want to feel the pressure to release on any label, and I don't want to like feel like I need to do something which I don't want. So I just want to just do what I like, have fun in the studio, and just put my music out there without no release contract, no promotion, no do this, no do that. And sometimes when when the things work. And now with that is coming one of the most important for me concepts in the industry, which is teamwork. And I think when you have a good team behind yourself, they support you, you grow up. And I want to ask you, talking about teamwork, about agencies. We talked a little bit in the beginning, in the first panel, but I would love to ask you if a rising star, rising artist need an agency. If you have an agency, and if you have, how is going the journey with it?
Yeah, I think you do. To be honest, I do have an agency. Honestly, since like I don't know, I've had several agencies, like, and I've changed because I've changed musically. So I felt like I didn't fit my previous agency anymore. but definitely really helps me because especially if you're like a rising artist, you have so many requests for, podcast remixes, stuff like that. And if on top of that, you add the gigs, like that would be like crazy for me. And also I'm not really good at selling myself. So I'm terrible at business. Like I know that. So I'm not, I would not be able to make business with like other like people. So yeah, for me, it's really helps a lot.
What about you, for example, Robin?
I joined an agency a couple of months ago, actually, like last year during the pandemic, and the agency is led by a friend of mine. So we have a like very, very personal relationship, which is also like he's also one of the people who support me and who I can talk to. Exactly, and also I think it's really it helped me a lot also to like get more opportunities because I'm really bad at texting also and responding, and it's just like the moment I got an offer before I had my agency, I would just like let it in my inbox for a week and not respond because I was like, I don't know what I should write. I don't want to get into this like whole discussion about the fee and everything. And also I really easily lost like the overview of everything, especially with podcasts and releases and deadlines. And so I would say it helped me a lot to be in an agency. And I would also say that for younger artists or like smaller artists, who struggle with the same problems like I do, it's actually helping. Yeah.
And what about for you? How are you doing with agency topic?
We don't have a global touring agent. We like to work with friends, as you said. I think that's the best thing because you can trust them and they will look out for your best interest instead of you being on a roster of like 5 other artists that are bigger than you and you're always just like the last one that they would like to sell out, because especially if you're still up and coming, your fees are not so high. So then for an agency, they're always looking to book out the better paid act because they're getting a commission of that, right? So right now, for example, we just did a local signing with like an Australian booking agent. So they're working on a tour for us there. So then that's cool because otherwise, how else are you gonna enter a market like that? Because we're not gonna get enough gigs to make like an international flight to Australia and then play one show. That wouldn't be worth it. So you really need to try to find some people in a market to really represent you well and believe in you, and they all love our music, so then they have an interest in pushing us, right?
Did you have experience back in the day with agencies or not at all?
No, but I heard a lot of stories where you where you sign with an agency, but then you don't get as much out of it as you would like to, and then at some point you're better off just like responding yourself to those requests and actually making them happen. So it's a little bit of like it needs to feel right, I think. If it feels right with an agent and it works well, then maybe try it first. Or like with them now, we're not going to sign with them exclusively. In Australia, for example, we want to see first for like a 2-week show, a 2-week tour or something. And then if that works well, then maybe they can represent us exclusively in Australia or something, instead of like signing like a 3-year deal with them and then you never get a show, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you brought a really good topic, and I think one of the keys to be a rising star is to make the correct steps, the solid steps. And it's really easy, especially when you start and when you're a rising star, rising artist, like get really crazy when an agency came to you. But I have so many examples. For example, one of the best agencies in Spain is called Before Booking, and it's in Barcelona, and they take artists from like Marco Carola, Adam Beyer, Paco Zuna, like the big guys. And there was so many rising artists, friend of mine in Spain, that they joined and they were so happy, and it was really nice on social media, this post. But then they don't get nothing because, why is the point to be rising artists in 50 in a 50 agencies roster, and then you will not get nothing? So also you should take care of this and.
Just work with whoever believes in you. It doesn't really matter if it's big or small agency. If your agent really likes you and believes in you, they're gonna work with you and for you. Like, they're going to try to push you. So I've had experience with both small and big agencies, and to be honest, like, as long as I have a nice relationship with my agent, things work. So, if you're a new artist, sometimes you get huge opportunities and you think like, whoa, like, I've had friends telling me like, wow, I just signed with the biggest label, I'm going to be huge now, and nothing happened, So it's like, doesn't really matter, like that. Like, what matters the most is like, you really feel it. Like, you really feel like the person that, wants to work with you really likes you and believes in your work. So that would be the most important. And the same thing with labels, like, you can have an EP on like one of the biggest labels and nothing happens, and then you can release an EP yourself on Bandcamp, and and then you're like, suddenly you have success. So I think it's just a matter of just believing in your work and working with people that believe in you at the same time. So that and of course you believe in them, like, you respect their work. So it's like it's a teamwork in the end.
Yeah, and actually one of those steps, and in order to have like solid and to do solid steps, is to work on branding. And let's get into branding, because I think it's one of the concepts which we are facing really nowadays, like for the artists. So it doesn't matter when you became a product, you really need to work on the brand strategy. And I really want to ask you, especially for the audience and for the people who doesn't know about like the benefits of work on a brand strategy and how you are doing it with it, if you have help, if you are doing it by yourself, and how you really handle this really interesting process, for example.
Sure. I mean, we very well considered our branding before releasing as Don't Blink, because we both made music beforehand. So we actually worked on the tracks for about a year before even releasing anything or even choosing the name. And then we really like considered, well, what would the name would be, how we would like present this. So we, when we finally came up with Don't Blink, like, how do you want to stylize this? So we all capped it, right? So it's all caps, but not just our artist name is all caps. All of our releases are always in all caps. So then if someone looks down the charts and they see a track in all caps, it's a likely chance it's our track. And maybe it stands out in a list of 100 tracks, and you click on that more likely maybe than if it's like a normally written track, right? So it's like a little like life hack about how you want to do this. For our label, for example, we try, even though it's always the same kind of branding for the label, which is called Low Ceiling. So we always use the cover artworks of like a basement with like cool lights, but we try to use different colors every release because the colors stand out. If you have like the same color every release, or if you have like no color at all, no one likes to click on it. I mean, that's thumbnails on YouTube 101. You want to click on the brightest thing with like the biggest like. And obviously, if no one clicks on your music, no one listen to it, and no one will discover it, right? So there's a lot of consideration that we're doing just on the branding side and how we want to present ourselves. One is, for example, with the party shirts. I mean, that wasn't like by choice or something. We just like, we live in Bali, and we wear shirts there, and then we started doing this. I mean, clearly other people started doing that now too, but we do our thing, and now it kind of established itself in that, and especially in like the other the clubs where we play, usually everyone's wearing black or maybe a white shirt or something, but then we come in and we come and bring a good time, and we wear some party shirts and have fun, and people recognize that maybe, and then we stand out, and maybe they put the name and the music and the branding together, and then they have a better picture of who we are. And I think that's what we want to take out of it. Even if we warm up for someone else, if they can remember us, that's the best part of it, right? So
but you would say that you plan every single step in your brand strategy, or sometimes you see like how the things are going on, just follow your flow and let's see, or is every single step like really planned?
No. I mean, there was definitely like a to-do list at the beginning about like getting maybe a logo or getting like a press kit together or something, you know. But then after that, you know, it's a learning curve, and you see. I mean, the cool thing is you can see what other guys are doing. You can like see what they are using that could be interesting, and then just apply that to your own branding, to your own production, whatever you do, right? I mean, if someone uses a cool new sound or like a cool new idea in a track, there's no reason why not to experiment with it yourself. And like, well, I don't know. I mean, there's always, it's never a stale process, right? There's always developing.
Yeah, I think so too. It's about like fail big, but dream big. And to have this kind of fails is when you will really learn about it. And for example, you, Robin, how you are doing it with the brand strategy, if you are doing it, and are you like an organized person in that way, like you plan everything, or you just like, or not really?
Yeah, I'm not really doing it at all. Like, yeah, as I mentioned before, this whole thing with a career actually starting wasn't planned at all, and I'm very happy with it the way it is. But yeah, I also like I'm not really a social media person that much, and I don't really feel comfortable with creating a gimmick from my artist persona, because it's actually just me and I'm playing like the music that I love. And so yeah, I'm like yeah, I don't really have a branding strategy. I think this is something that might be like, I'm just gonna keep on, like it's been working the way it is.
Okay,
and
but that was my question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a brand strategy, but it's working. What you are doing.
yeah, exactly. It's working, and so I don't think for now I need to do it. I think it's like it's good to have a branding strategy if you want to go that way. But I don't think it's necessary, because the like everything that's been coming for me has just been coming from the music that I play and from the resonance that I've been getting.
What about you? How's it going?
Yeah, same. I don't plan anything, to be honest. But I also think I don't plan anything because I change a lot. Like, I mean, as I said, I've been DJing for maybe 13 years, producing for like 12 years. And I've changed so much throughout the years. And, you know, so I don't really plan anything because maybe next year I'm going to be different. So, so I just do whatever I feel at the moment. Of course, having a branding helps, but I don't think it's completely necessary because a lot of artists don't have it. I mean, many they do, but many don't. And I don't think it's like completely necessary. But yeah, I don't know. I don't plan anything. Maybe I should.
Well, actually, I always say like we need to treat the audience like, and is the reality that the audience is smart, and you can see like so many artists having a brand strategy, but some of them, like for example, what you explained, that maybe just like showing how you are, what you do, but somehow to show that you are and what you do is totally real, because the people really identify with something is fake. And I think like we are so pissed off to say fake people on social media and fake things. Yeah. And I think that the audience start to really appreciate much more than ever the authentic and the real thing. So somehow, I don't know if the marketing people want to call it, but could be also a brand strategy. Just show yourself how you are, no?
Also, like, you have to think about this. Like, if you want to keep this on the long run, like, if you're being fake, you can't sustain it for years, you know? Like, the only way to have this for the long term is to be yourself, because like anyway we are all different, and if you're you, no one is going to be like you. So you have to see what's like what are your strength, what your strength is, and just work around that. Like some people are better with music, some people are better with image, you know, some DJs are even like super funny, you know, and you know they really work with that, and you know and that's the way, for me, that they stand out, because no one is going to be as funny as you, no one's going to dress as you. So just, you know, for me, that's why I don't plan anything. I just try to be as myself as possible and work with that.
Yeah, actually, getting to social media, we just said like Robin is not like really a social media person, but we need to face the reality, like it's actually really important. And there is so many tips that we can give, but I want to ask you especially also, for example, for Don't Bleed Project, like how social media represent, or it is so important for you for being a rising artist, like how important is for you social media platforms, especially for the beginning of for the rising artists, and if you can give us some tips to increase your value as a product, as an artist through social media platforms.
Well, well, yeah, be yourself. I think it's super important. Every time we try to force ourselves to do something that we can't sustain, it works out for like about 3 days, and then and then that was it. We are notoriously bad at social media because we both don't like it. So it's very important, and we wish we would do it more, but because we both don't enjoy, and because we like, I feel like, okay, if there was something exciting to show, then we would show it, but like it's sometimes not so exciting to just work on music or do your, and we both don't feel so comfortable sharing our private lives everywhere, right? So then it's, I don't know, I wish it was coming more naturally to do that stuff, because it is fairly important as an artist to do it and to like show what you do and take people with you in a way, but maybe... Again, it's like this hurdle. Maybe once you start touring more, there's also more exciting content that you can show of your career. So it's like a little bit of like chicken and egg situation where you need to like start your career somewhere and you need to show it, but you also don't have enough cool stuff to show. So of course, once everything picks up, it picks up more and more, right? And I think we also have the advantage that it's two of us. For you, it's even harder because it's really hard nowadays as an artist because you're everything. You're your own social media manager, your own marketing manager, your own agent at times. You know, you're everything. And of course, we split the work, but then there's still a bug, and it's still not enough. And that's why at some point you need to find even other people to help you and that you trust and that believe in you. And yeah.
For example, for you, Robin, like you say, like maybe you are not like a social media person, but somehow you need to show, like, I don't know, new releases. So I play in that club. How you handle this? Like, I mean, like, do you know there is certain kind of post that you know that the people really like, or like you go through this post, this kind of material or information? How you feel with that, and which kind of tips? Because this is really interesting. How someone who is not really into social media works social media. I think like you can also like give us some tips how you feel like.
I think like I wouldn't say I'm not into social media. Like I've been using it for years now, and of course I've been on social media. I think the point for me is, or actually like the hard thing for me is understanding that there's actually now a broader community of people who are actually interested in me and interested in my music and what I do. And because like I'm still in my head, I still have the idea of my Instagram, for example, just being my output for my friends and to stay connected and in touch with people. But yeah, of course, there like it grew a lot, and there's a lot of people who want to be taken on your journey with you, kind of. So I'm trying really hard to push myself also to just like. It's easy things. I think it's even small things, just like making a Q&A every now and then, giving the people the opportunity to ask you questions, posting about gigs that you've played, and I think like even I'm seeing a lot of like airport posts, for example, of DJs when they're touring, and I think their fans really appreciate just like seeing, like getting a glimpse of the lives of the DJs, kind of. And yeah, my agent is always kicking my ass because I post one post in like 3 weeks, and it should really be more. And when I joined the agency, 2 friends of mine also joined it at the same time, and at that time we were all on like a similar stage of our careers, and both of them really put a lot of work into social media, and you can see like they've past me a lot because they do a lot, and I'm okay. Like I'm not in a hurry with my career. I'm really okay with how it is, but I know that yeah, social media is like a very efficient tool for getting growth for your career and your projects.
And for example, well, I check and we talk about your social media, and you are doing really great, honestly. And how is for you? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, I don't know. To me, it's easy. You know, I don't have a manager at the moment, and you know, I'm always traveling alone. And Also, moving to Europe alone, it was a way for me to keep connected to my friends in Mexico. So honestly, for me, it's just easy because I'm at the airport alone. I'm always talking by myself, making jokes in my head, so I just post them on Instagram because like I want to talk to people. I want to, say whatever. So I just use it as a platform to, keep connected to people and to show them like, hey, I'm at the airport, I'm bored, I'm just post whatever, thing. And people reply to me. And like even today, I posted like a quick video of my studio and a girl asked me a question about it. And, I had a really nice talk with her. And, I think people appreciate that. I think people really, if they admire you, they want to be connected to you in a way. Like they want to see how your life looks like, whatever inspires you. So I just see it as a tool, to share with people.
But did you have, for example, any time this kind of pressure, like, I didn't post nothing today, I need to post something, or yesterday I didn't post nothing, and then in the end you post something which doesn't bring you any value because this kind of pressure from the rest of the DJs or producers, like there's so many information over there and you feel like you need to do it also when you maybe don't have nothing important to share and you just make a selfie in your kitchen saying like, upcoming gigs, stay tuned. And there is like, hey, so is this kind of, I did it, and I don't like it. And somehow when I start to feel about this, is because you feel like you need to just like force it, no? You need to like just to do it because looks like we need to just like spread information on the playground and just like be another one. So did you have this feeling any time, this pressure, like just post something?
I actually feel like I post too much. Sometimes I'm like, okay I should
I am
stop
not
posting.
alone here. What about you? Did you have, or you just like feel really relaxed with that and you just like do it when you have something important?
No, don't feel that pressure. I mean, I wish I was feeling that pressure more.
Yeah, same actually. I kind of just stripped myself from that pressure, which is like I'm cool with it, but like having a bit more pressure on my mind would also push me to like being more active and.
But you feel, for example, the pressure from your agency or from your agent? Like,
I mean, it's not bad pressure. Yeah. He's just always like he's like, yeah, you see, like, like for example, we played a showcase in Münster last weekend, and one of the DJs asked us all, like, the moment we got into the hotel, he was like, yeah, can we take a picture on the hallway? And then we did a picture, and he posted it right away, and it's stuff like that. Like, it's hard for me to make an extra effort because like when I'm having a selfie session in front of my mirror and there's a nice one, I'm posting it. It's not a problem, but I'm having a hard time just actually creating content for it with the pure intention to post it.
But I think sometimes it will be much more helpful to travel with someone that's going to help you, because me too, I forget. Sometimes I'm DJing and I don't take any videos or photos or anything. And then, the next day I'm like, oh, I didn't shit. So I just take like a quick selfie, like, thank you. But I just, because I forgot. But I have friends who really, they pay like a photographer or someone to travel with them. And so they take all like the behind the scenes videos. And to be honest, really, really helps. Like they tell me that they're super happy with it. So I definitely recommend it. And I've been thinking about it too, So at some point I want to do that as well, actually.
Yeah, of course, like to invest money on these kind of things, of course, will bring you so many great achievements, in the way like to have more material, because it's true. I mean, when you play in one club and then the day after you wake up a little bit hungover and need to go to the airport, and then you said, I forgot to post about this, so now I need to do that, but at the same time you have so much information to post, so in the end you feel like, I don't know what happened, no? I mean, like, But yeah, and which kind of because this is what is great, no? Like we had kind of different perspective from here, and I would love to ask you, for the newcomers, for the beginners, which kind of tips you will say in order like to start your career and to become a rising artist, like some insights that maybe people can learn from you and apply in order to to get this step?
I don't know, just like, just follow your instincts, work for whatever makes you happy. Don't listen to others. Like, even, it happened to me in the beginning, there was like this DJ I admired, and I sent him some demos in like years ago, and he didn't like them. And I remember I was super heartbroken. I was like, no, I suck, like I will never be able to, blah, blah. And then years later, like even a bigger DJ that I admire even more told me like, this music is amazing. So it's like, in the end, don't base your worth on someone else's opinions, like if you know what you're doing and if you like it, like doesn't really matter like other people's opinion. So like just believe in what you do, work for yourself, be happy with what you have. Surround yourself by people that will encourage you to be better and not to like put you down, because like in the beginning a lot of people were trying to put me down, and I just kept working, and at some point it just happened, so just keep working, don't give up, just do whatever makes you happy. Try and remember, everything you put out is going to come back to you, so just be kind, be good to people, be supportive. And yeah, eventually just things will happen for you. Like really, like I've seen people not do the right thing, abuse their power and stuff like that. And maybe, they're successful for 1-2 years, and then the next year, like nobody knows them anymore. So, just, be right and keep working hard. That would be my advice.
Well said. What about you, Robin? Like,
I absolutely agree. I would also like, just from experience, how it was for me. I just started, like, I think the moment I had like another DJ name before, and I played kind of different music, more like industrial kind of music, and everything for me started the moment I just started playing the music that I actually listen to and that I enjoy listening to, and I just I didn't try to force it at any point, and I think that's how it worked for me. So it's also like, just stay true to yourself. Don't really try to be something that you're not, and don't try to do something that you don't really like, because also like on the long run, you're not, like, even if you get successful with something that you're not really standing behind, on the long run you're not gonna like it, and the success won't really get you anywhere, because you're gonna hate what you're doing. And so actually I think it's also important not to want to be successful too badly, because that will push you in the wrong direction, kind of. Because that's when you start changing your sound, changing the way you handle things, and I
think you're right that you shouldn't like force yourself to be successful, but like I think you should set yourself up to success in a way. So I think it's a nice balance between having like enjoying what you're doing your music and having fun with it, and not like forcing yourself like to do something that you're not. But then on the other side, I think having a little bit of a business mind behind it, if you want to make it a career, is important, because otherwise you're just gonna keep on doing your thing and like no one will pay so much attention. Or you could like actually take steps, unless there's someone rediscovering you. But unless you like set yourself up for that as well, it's hard. I mean, I definitely think you should try to like see what the people that you are looking up to, or the artists that inspire you, are doing, that you could like take away from a little bit and like grow in a way. I think then that's and it can be self growth, and it makes you happy, or it can be growth towards your career. And I think one thing as well for any artist that just starts is like, don't plan on that being your career, because it's really hard to make a living off just being an artist. And don't throw away your like studies or whatever you're doing just because you think like, okay, I'm gonna make it in like this industry right from the get-go. I think that's really unless like there's like already like you can see a clear path towards this, and because otherwise that's maybe a big risk. I mean, nowadays it's good to take risks as well sometimes, but I
have something to add. Just keep in mind there's always ups and downs, like because I've seen a lot of people, including myself, whenever like, you're down, like you're not getting maybe much work at the moment or something, and you start feeling like, you start feeling bad, and then it comes up again. So it's not a straight line, like just keep that in mind, but still, keep staying hopeful and keep working, and definitely don't do this just because you want to be famous. Like that's very wrong. Like it's not gonna work like that. Just you have to do this because you're passionate, and just follow that, and everything else is gonna come. So yeah, like what you said, I agree with that.
It actually came to my mind one question, especially for all those DJs who are like also like you both, like a duo. There is something like you learn being, because in the end you both like handle your career by yourself. Of course, maybe you have an agent, but how you say, but for you, like because you are doing like teamwork every single day, not only as a DJ, but also as a producer. So there is something that you will say, like always listen to your partner, don't listen to your partner, don't make, I don't know, something that you can tell us, like, because it's really interesting for so many DJ duos that we have over there. There is any insight that you learned during your journey together?
Well, I guess it comes to the feeling, If we feel it's the music we're doing at the moment is right, then we just agree upon that. If we have a conflict about something, then this is the point where we think, okay, we're doing something wrong. And the driving force is going to be the curiosity. We're curious about things. We're curious how this track going to work. And eventually it comes down to the idea behind the project. We're trying to, like a scientist, we're trying to make relentless groove. Relentless. The groove which you can relentlessly dance. And that's the idea. And then we're trying to work together on that idea. And that's bring us here. That's why we're sitting here. Just curiosity.
Yeah, I really agree with that. And this is why you are doing really well. Everyone here sit down with me, and I'm so happy for all of you, and really like appreciate the time that you gave us, and I just want to say thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
And like the panel before, we have, if someone have any question for the guests, feel free, don't be shy. There is something? No? Okay, so, yeah. Okay.
How was it in Mexico? Like, did the people react good to the music, or what kind of music did you start making when you were in Mexico?
No, actually, I mean, I've changed my style, but my music has always been a bit dark, you would say. And yeah, no, people didn't like me. Actually, they kicked me out from stage probably 2-3 times. They were like, "Oh, this is too dark," and you stop playing. And yeah, like it was really hard. That's why I moved to Europe, because I felt like people were supporting me more here. So I just, honestly, it was the risk, but I took it because I knew at the time I didn't want to do anything else because I had other jobs and stuff. But at the time I was like, you know what, this makes me very happy. So I did my first European tour, and I told myself, if it works, I'm going to move here. And it did. So I just moved. But yeah, Mexico, now it's better for sure. Like it changed. I mean, in 10 years, definitely a lot changed. But sadly, I mean, I was there some months ago, and some DJs, especially women, they used to keep telling me that it's not easy for them. So yeah, sadly, hope it changes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think so.
So yeah, I mean, it's
somehow.
getting better now, but yeah, it's not easy.
Okay, great. So thanks a lot for the question. And yeah, we have. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
As rising artists, why the question artist management? Don't you guys like to have
A manager?
Artist manager and working with artist agencies or artist managers? Because myself is artist manager, so that's why.
To be honest, I do. I'm interested. It's just, I guess I haven't. I don't know. I maybe at the moment I haven't met the right person for me yet. I think. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess at some point, definitely when I start feeling that it's too overwhelming because a lot of things are happening, that's, I start thinking like, okay, I need a manager. but I don't know. It just hasn't happened yet. Like I said, I don't plan it. I don't like to force things. So when I meet the right person, I'm gonna know, like, okay, we can work together.
Yeah. Do you have, guys, management agency?
Yeah, I mean, we had management conversations before. We had a friend of ours help us too. I think it needs to feel right. It needs to be someone that believes in you, that doesn't just see you. We had management conversations before with bigger management that represent really big artists, but then it's only about how do we brand you, how do we like make you a cash cow for us in a way, right? And it's like, that's not who we want to be, right? We turned down really big exclusive signings with big labels because it didn't feel right. And then it's even though maybe for a career short term it would have like helped to like sign with these big corporations, but it's like for us as artists it didn't make so much sense. So I think it also, maybe we're overly cautious with it. Maybe our career would have already been somewhere else, but I also see a lot of the acts that maybe sell themselves a little bit more to that industry, and it's not really who we want to be. So then I think we don't actively search for a manager per se, but if the right person shows up and they believe in us and you have the same vision and the same ideas and not just do like a to-do list of the things, and then yeah, I think it could all work out.
And you, Robin, are you like working with a management agency or just like in terms for the releases or?
No, like everything is actually handled by my agent also, like also in terms of releases and everything. And yeah, as I mentioned before, it's a good friend of mine, so it's very easy to actually like address everything and to talk about everything and to sit down together and make a plan, because like I'm also very yeah, I think it's like for me it's very important to have like a personal relationship with an artist, because I know that I wouldn't say everything that I want to say if it's someone that I don't really know good.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for bringing the question. So I don't know if someone have another question. Otherwise, once again, thank you so much and for being part, and yeah, wish you the best in your coming steps.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.